But as far as I'm concerned, I'm covered by ignorance. This kind of philosophy does not touch my heart. There are various classes of men. One class is called akamis, referring to those who have no material desire. Desire must exist, either material or spiritual. Material desire arises when one wants to satisfy one's personal senses. One who is ready to sacrifice anything to satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead can be said to have spiritual desire. Dhruva did not accept the instruction given by great Saint Narad because he thought himself unfit for such instructions, which prohibited all material desires. It's not a fact, however, that those who have material desires are prohibited from worshipping the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And they can also worship. Everybody can worship. This is an essential instruction from the life of Dhruva. He frankly admitted that his heart was full of material desires. He was very much affected by the cruel words of his stepmother, whereas those who are spiritually advanced do not care about anyone's condemnation or adoration. So Dhruva Maharaj is telling Narad Muni that your instructions are very good for those in passion, but I am in complete ignorance. So these instructions, they're not going to have the desired effect on me. Because Dhruva Maharaj, he was playing the part of, or he was very angry, and basically he was in envious mood also, because he wanted a kingdom better than even Swayambhuva Manu, his grandfather, or even better than even Brahmaji. So he's saying that if he had just the material desires, it would have been okay, but he wanted this kingdom to show off to his father that he can have better kingdom than his father, and whatever he was not even offering to Dhruva Maharaj. So there's a difference in having desires and having desires to show off or to take some kind of revenge. In Bhagavad Gita, it is said that persons who are actually advanced in spiritual life do not care for the dual behavior of this material world. But Dhruva Maharaj frankly admitted that he was not beyond the affliction of material distress and happiness. He was confident that the instruction given by Narad was valuable, yet he could not accept it. The question raised here is whether or not a person afflicted by material desires is fit to worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The answer is that everyone is fit to worship him, and everyone should worship him only, nobody else. Even if one has many material desires to fulfill, he should take to Krishna consciousness and worship the Supreme Lord Krishna, who is so merciful that he fulfills everyone's desires. But the beauty with Krishna consciousness is Krishna, when he fulfills the material desires, he will purify the devotee so much that the devotee won't even want the material desires to be fulfilled. He would be so detached from material world. He would be so much attached to Krishna that he won't even care if the material desires are fulfilled or not, or he would even feel ashamed that he had material desires. And then Krishna would fulfill. Because he knows then this devotee will not get entangled by this material progress or material amenities. Though through this narration, it will become very clear that no one is barred from worshipping the Supreme Personality of Godhead, even if one has many material desires. Text 36. Athapi me avinitasya kshatram ghoram upeyusha surachya durvachor baner nam bhinne shrayate hriti. My dear Lord, I am very impudent for not accepting your instructions. But this is not my fault. It is due to my having been born in a Kshatriya family. My stepmother Suruchi has pierced my heart with her harsh words. Therefore, your valuable instructions does not stand in my heart. So Dhruv Maharaj was very genuinely, he was speaking to Narad Muni. It's not like he was saying something openly or outwardly that, oh, okay, yes, Narad Muni, and I'll follow whatever he's saying. Inside in his heart, he is having all sorts of material desires. Having material desires is not a disqualification, or it's not that somebody will judge us based on our material desires. We all have material desires to a certain extent. We all have. So it's not a disqualification. It's not that, okay, now you cannot chant anymore because you have material desires. No. In fact, that is the time when we chant more. But somehow in the race to be called a pure devotee or to show off as a pure devotee, we have lost the essence. We have lost the substance. We're going after the form, not the substance. That's what the problem is. Substance is we have to get attached to Krishna. And we all are on a different level of our bhakti, of our pace towards Krishna, of our standing, and of our material consciousness also. We haven't even become devotees. We haven't even started devotion service yet. We are still getting trained for that. So in that, there should not be any race, any competition, or any name calling, or any judgment, anybody becoming judgmental about anybody. In fact, we should be helping everybody, each other. It is said that the heart or mind is just like an earthen pot. Once broken, it cannot be repaired by any means. Dhruv Maharaj gave this example to Narad Muni. He said that his heart, having been pierced by the arrows of his stepmother's harsh words, felt so broken that nothing seemed valuable but his desire to counteract her insult. His stepmother had said that because he was born from the womb of Suniti, as neglected queen of Maharaj Uttanapad, Dhruv Maharaj was not fit to sit either on the throne or on his father's lap. In other words, according to his stepmother, he could not be declared king. Dhruv Maharaj's determination, therefore, was to become king of a planet exalted even beyond that possessed by Lord Brahma, the greatest of all the demigods. So this could be considered a child's play. What is this 5-year-old boy and he wants a kingdom even better than Brahmaji? Brahmaji owns the whole universe, basically. Owns in the sense he has created it. So if given in a given universe, how can something be better than the whole universe? But that was his desire. And he was fixed up, he was determined. Dhruv Maharaj indirectly informed the great Sish Narad that there are 4 kinds of human spirit. The Brahminical spirit, the Kshatriya, the Vaishya spirit, and the Shudra spirit. The spirit of one caste is not applicable to the members of another. The philosophical spirit enunciated by Narad Muni might have been suitable for Brahman spirit, but it was not suitable for a Kshatriya. Dhruva frankly admitted that he was lacking in Brahminical humility and was therefore unable to accept the philosophy of Narad Muni. It's like I was insulted by the harsh words of my stepmother, and I have to go and fulfill my desires by pleasing the Supreme Lord. He's clearly saying, I'm not a Brahman that I would just tolerate the insult and the adoration and just sit on a corner and practice my bhajan. He said, I'm not like that. So your instructions are not good for me. The statements of Dhruv Maharaj indicated that unless a child is trained according to his tendency, there is no possibility of his developing his particular spirit. It was the duty of the spiritual master or teacher to observe the psychological movement of a particular boy and thus train him in a particular occupational duty. Dhruv Maharaj, having already been trained in the Kshatriya spirit, would not accept the Brahminical philosophy. In America, we have practical experience of this incompatibility of the Brahminical and Kshatriya temperaments. The American boys who have simply been trained as Shudras are not at all fit to fight in the battle. Therefore, when they are called to join the military, they refuse because they do not have Kshatriya spirit. This is the cause of great dissatisfaction in society. So, the Prabhupada is citing the example of, at that time there was this Vietnam War. And American youth, they were not signing up for the military. They were running away because Prabhupada is saying they didn't have that Kshatriya spirit, Kshatriya temperament. So the government had to introduce a draft, military draft. Means anybody who is eligible above 18 years old, 18 to 30, something like that, I don't know, like upper limit, that they would be drafted in the military unless until they have some solid reason for not. So in the process, many young people, they got drafted in the military without against their conviction, and they were not ready for military fight. They were not Kshatriya temperament. So either they got killed or they ran away from the war. There was so much of chaos. And so many of them, even before they were drafted, even many devotees also. Devotees had a different reason for not going to the war. But many of the youth, they just lied, they just ran away from the country, from America. They went to Canada or Europe. Or they did everything to dodge the draft because the Kshatriya spirit wasn't there. It's not like you can make somebody a Kshatriya. Even if you give somebody a gun, it doesn't mean he becomes a Kshatriya. Kshatriya doesn't mean only that he is a fighter. There are qualities of Kshatriyas even in Bhagavad Gita and later on also I think in 7th canto, Narad Muni explains in detail about Varnashram system. And Kshatriya spirit is like, you don't run away from the battle. That is Kshatriya. Whether we have weapons, whether or not weapons, you don't run away from the battle. Either you die or you become victorious. That's it. There are only two choices. There was no such thing as surrender. There was no such thing as agreement. Okay, we call peace. There was only two things, either die or be victorious. That is Kshatriya spirit. So these boys somehow didn't have that. And Dhruv Maharaj, he is a real Kshatriya, even 5 years old. He's not listening to Narad Muni. That the boys do not have the Kshatriya spirit does not mean they are that they are trained in Brahminical qualities. They are trained as Shudras. And thus, in frustration, they are becoming hippies. However, as soon as they enter the Krishna consciousness movement, being started in America, they're trained to meet the Brahminical qualifications, even though they have fallen to the lowest conditions as Shudras. In other words, since the Krishna consciousness movement is open for everyone, people in general can attain the Brahminical qualifications. That is the greatest need at the present moment. For now, there are actually no Brahmins, no Kshatriyas, but only some Vaishyas, and for the most part, Shudras. The classification of society into Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudras is very scientific. In the human social body, the Brahmins are considered the head, the Kshatriyas are arms, the Vaishyas are the belly, and the Shudras are the legs. At the present moment, the body has legs and a belly, but there are no arms or head. Means there are no Kshatriyas or Brahmins, not qualified ones. And therefore, society is topsy-turvy. It is necessary to re-establish the Brahminical qualifications in order to raise the fallen human society to the highest standard of spiritual consciousness. So Dhruv Maharaj is clearly telling Narad Muni that I'm not a Brahman, so I cannot do the work of a Brahman. Just to forgive and just forget and be happy in every situation. I'm a Kshatriya. So Kshatriya means to take the bull by the horns. Padam Tribhavanotkrishtam Jigisha Sadhu Vartmame Briha Bruya Smith Pitribhir Brahman Anyar Api Andhishtitam. O learned Brahman, I want to occupy a position more exalted than any yet achieved within the three worlds by anyone, even by my fathers and grandfathers. If you will oblige, kindly advise me of an honest path to follow by which I can achieve the goal of my life. So that is pretty straightforward. Or in other words, Dhruv Maharaj is saying, if you can tell me this path to achieve what I want to achieve, please instruct me. Otherwise, get out of my way. There's like polite way of saying, just get out of my way. I'll find the path. When Dhruv Maharaj refused to accept the Brahminical instructions of Narad Muni, naturally the next question would be what sort of instructions he wanted. So even before Narad Muni asked, Dhruv Maharaj expressed his heartfelt desire. His father, of course, was the emperor of the entire world, and his grandfather, Lord Brahma. In fact, it is his great grandfather, but grandfather is Swayambhuva Manu. And Lord Brahma was the creator of the universe. Dhruv Maharaj expressed his desire to possess a kingdom better than those of his father and grandfather. He frankly stated that he wanted a kingdom which had no competitor within the three worlds, namely the higher, middle, and lower planetary systems. The greatest personality within this universe is Lord Brahma, and Dhruv Maharaj wanted a position even greater than his. He wanted to take advantage of Narad Muni's presence because he knew very well that if Narad Muni, the greatest devotee of Lord Krishna, could bless him or show him the path, then certainly he would be able to occupy a more exalted position than any person within the three worlds. Thus he wanted help from Naradji to achieve that position. Dhruv Maharaj wanted a position greater than that of Brahma. This was practically an impossible proposition, but by pleasing the Supreme Personality of Godhead, a devotee can achieve even the impossible. So Krishna, if he is pleased, he can provide anything which is impossible. Just like who could even imagine in 1965 when Srila Prabhupada left India to come to America and to start the movement teaching spreading the teachings of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu all over the world. Who could have thought that he would be able to achieve it? In fact, Monday or tomorrow for you guys today, July 13th is a date, English calendar date, when in 1966 Prabhupada registered the society. And he called it the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. International Society. He was sitting in a rented apartment. It wasn't even an apartment. And he had only 4 or 5 followers. They were not even his disciples yet. And with them, he took them into confidence. They brought the lawyer, and they drafted the paperwork, drafted all the bylaws for the society. For what? International Society for Krishna Consciousness. Even the followers didn't even know what the bylaws were, what the issues, what the points of the society were. But they just had faith in Prabhupada and they signed it. So even we can see from Prabhupada's example, he wanted a society all over the world with temples, devotees, with worship going on all over the world. And it happened by the mercy of Krishna. Because he pleased Krishna by his tapasya. His tapasya was not going to Vrindavan and sit under a tree. His tapasya was sitting and staying in America and then traveling all over the world, distributing this message. He wrote books, he initiated disciples, he started up temples, farm communities, restaurants, Gurukul, traveled all over the world 14 times in 12 years. Who could have done that? So this is also sounds like an impossible proposition, but Prabhupada did it. And that too at an advanced age of 70 when he started it. And without any of this electronic equipment's help, no mobile phones, no computers, so many things. By hand writing the letters. Who could have imagined? And another thing Prabhupada is saying, one particular point mentioned here is that Dhruv Maharaj wanted to occupy an exalted position, not by hook or by crook, but by honest means. This indicates that if Krishna offered him such a position, then he would accept it. That is the nature of a devotee. He may desire material gain, but he accepts it only if Krishna offers it. Dhruv Maharaj was sorry to refuse the instruction of Narad Muni. Therefore, he requested him to be merciful to him by showing a path by which he could fulfill his mind's desires. So another point that Prabhupada is stressing upon is honest path. There's Dhruv Maharaj, if you will oblige, kindly advise me of an honest path to follow. He didn't want to just go behind the back and kill his father and kill his stepbrother and then occupy the throne. He didn't do that. He didn't want to do that. He had no inclination of doing that. So like for an example, we always give this example of a line. We just draw a line on a piece of paper. Now, how do we make it smaller? We can take an eraser and erase some part of the line, make it smaller, or we can draw a bigger line, longer line next to it. So then this line becomes smaller. So that is the honest way of working. If somebody has achieved something, and if we want to get something better, we work hard. We work harder than that person and try to achieve something better. Honest means. Dishonest means just maybe try to sabotage his achievement or try to kill him or do something. so that his line becomes shorter. But if we do that, then karma is waiting for us. Karma is everywhere. Nunam bhavan bhagavato yongaja parameshthina vitutannat natte veenam hitaya jagato arkavat. My dear Lord, you are a worthy son of Lord Brahma, and you travel playing on a musical instrument, the veena, for the welfare of the entire universe. You are like the sun which rotates in the universe for the benefit of all living beings. Dhruv Maharaj, although a young child, expressed his hope that he might be offered the benedictions of kingdom, which would exceed in opulence those of his father and grandfather. He also expressed his gladness that he had met such an exalted person as Narad, whose only concern was to illuminate the world like the sun, which rotates all over the universe, only for the purpose of benefiting the inhabitants of all planets. Narad Muni travels all over the universe for the sole purpose of performing the best welfare activity for the entire universe by teaching everyone how to become a devotee of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Thus Dhruv Maharaj felt fully assured that Narad Muni could fulfill his desire, even though the desire was very extraordinary. The example of the sun is very significant. The sun is so kind that it distributes its sunshine everywhere without consideration. Dhruv Maharaj requested Narad Muni to be merciful to him. He pointed out that Narad travels all over the universe just for the purpose of doing good to all conditioned souls. He requested that Narad Muni show his mercy by awarding him the benefit of his particular desire. Dhruv Maharaj was strongly determined to fulfill his desire, and it was for that purpose that he had left his home and palace. So now he is requesting Narad Muni that you please be merciful upon me and tell me the right path to follow. And his desire is still the same. He wanted a kingdom better than even Brahmaji. So Narad Muni, being very merciful, spiritual master of the whole universe, he would fulfill his desire. But the purpose of Narad Muni is not just to fulfill the material desire of Dhruv Maharaj. He saw this strong determination in the heart of this little boy. So he's gonna fan the spark of determination. And the ultimate aim of Narad Muni, which Dhruv Maharaj could not even imagine at that time, was to make Dhruv Maharaj a devotee and fulfill his material desire. But the best part is to make him a devotee so that he doesn't get entangled even after his material desires are fulfilled. So we might have many disqualifications, but we might have maybe only one qualification. And the spiritual master should be able to see that and fan that spark so that that qualification comes to the forefront, and rest everything goes to the background. Just like Srila Prabhupada did with so many disciples of his. They came from hippie background, they were not properly, they didn't have proper way of living, clean way of living. Prabhupada saw the spark, the little spark. Okay, this person is good in editing the books. And Prabhupada gave him so much of work of editing the books that the person became pure devotee. He saw Shyam Sundar Prabhu. Shyam Sundar Prabhu had a background of carpentry. Another good part of Americans is they're not shy of doing physical service. Shyam Sundar Prabhu was a carpenter before. In India, a carpenter We don't even look at him properly. Or Jayananda Prabhu, although he was a mechanical engineer by his studies, by his degree, but he himself would get under the car's hood and fix the cars. Not like, I'm a mechanical engineer, I will take the car to a mechanic and let him charge arm and leg to fix it. They would themselves, like Jayananda Prabhu himself with his hands, he would make the chariot for Lord Jagannath. They're not shy of using the tools to be creative, to make something. That's very good part in the Western world. And they're not shy of taking out the garbage and cleaning up the temple, or cleaning up the yard, garden of Krishna. They're not shy of that. We are somehow in India, we are. We never learned because parents didn't allow, because it was something below their prestige. And then now we are shy of doing all this. But we should not be. Any service of Krishna is spiritual. Not recently, but some time back, I met a devotee, Prabhupada's disciple, in Baltimore Temple. Old person, your Prabhupada disciple now, they all are old. And very nicely he told me one thing. He said, devotees come to the temple and they say, what service to do? He said, I come to the temple and all I see everywhere is service. I don't have to ask anybody for service. I see so many of services. Garbage has to be taken out, so you would go and pick up, because trash bag is there in the garbage can, you would pick it up the trash bag and tie it up and throw it in the garbage can, throw it in the dumpster. Garden has to be cleansed, and the prasadam has to be served, or the table has to be cleansed, and chairs have to be put in the proper order. And he would just do it without asking anybody. If nothing else, he would put the shoes and chappals in proper order, because devotees, they are in so much of ecstasy when they come to the temple that they forget where to put their shoes properly, because they want to run and take darshan of the Lord. But this is not the right practice. So anyway, I think I got distracted. So Dhruv Maharaj is begging Narad Muni to show him the path, show him. And Narad Muni, okay. So so the determination that he saw in Dhruv Maharaj was so profound that Narad Muni is going to tell him give him the instructions and fan this spark of determination in Dhruv Maharaj to make him a pure devotee. And by the mercy of Narad Muni, by the instructions that he gave and Dhruv Maharaj followed, he achieved the lotus feet of Krishna, lotus feet of the Supreme Lord in a very short time. Anyway, so we'll stop here. See anybody has any questions or comments.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Mata.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you so much for sharing live examples. Very eye-opening. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Prabhuji, please close the background.
Okay, I'll post it on the group.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Jai Shila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna. Thank you all very much. You all have a wonderful and safe day. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Jai Shri Prabhupada.
Krishna.